even when you make a mistake or you don't get what you think you want, we always learn from that. As long as you think of it as like, it's not winning or losing, it's a learning. Honestly, often the most difficult things in life, I think, are a springboard for the best things in life.
Absolutely.
Great things happen outside of our comfort zones. If we could all make that our rallying cry and trust that it is all going to work out, that I think gave me the courage and bravery to step outside what I loved and knew so well inside and out and to try something different.
The big silence. Empowering personal experiences, inspiring compassion, and healing lives. We are no longer silent. We are here.
The big silence. The big silence.
Welcome back, Liz Plosser, to the Big Silence Podcast.
I'm so happy to be here. I loved the first episode we got to record together.
Episode 55 in April 2022.
Wow.
Or 2023. Maybe 2023.
Yeah, because it was South by Southwest. It was a couple years ago.
Yes.
That's right. That was a fun one.
And I'm going to put a link to that episode in the show notes so you can really get to know Liz and all of the background and all of the history there and your story. And I'm so excited to be here in Los Angeles now.
I know.
And we were literally in Austin, Texas.
I know. We were having lunch together in Austin.
At my fave place, Ski Shores.
Breakfast in LA.
Yeah. And I really wanted to have you back on the pod because everyone knows you as editor-in-chief of Women's Health magazine.
Yes.
You were there for 7 years. Previously, you were with Self, Cosmo, like all the things we've worked together.
Yes. So many places and in different ways.
And I think it's really important to have this conversation today because you recently resigned to move on to the next stage of your life. And I think it's so important to share this conversation because there's so many ebbs and flows in our careers and lives. And so many people are complacent with they must stay in the same place. And I think you're a wise woman to talk about this.
Aw. Well, I'm thrilled to be here. And it's so fun to record at this very transitional moment in my life. For the first time, I'm a free bird. I've always had a job at a big corporation, like since college. So this is uncomfortable, but also pretty exhilarating.
What does uncomfortable feel like for you right now? And how far into being a free bird are you?
So my last day at Women's Health was December 31, 2024. So it's been almost a month, which went really fast. Being uncomfortable. I just had gotten so used to the routines and knowing what to expect for the most part.
Yeah.
Going into an office, seeing my team every morning. And now I'm on my own. I'm having to teach myself a lot of new things. And I have the opportunity to work with people and brands that I'm really excited about in deeper ways because that was one of my favorite parts about working at Women's Health. But I don't know how it's all going to go,
you don't have to have the answer right now. But I guess what have you learned? It's only been like a month, so
I have learned
you don't have the answers right now. But recreating a routine for you, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, the good news is I had a pretty solid morning routine, which I already knew set me up for a great day. I get up pretty early. I like to work out in the morning. I feel that it makes me clearer and more confident and calmer for whatever the day brings. So I'm sticking with that. I also just have more energy in the morning to work out. And then I'm getting dressed, which is very important because
isn't that so simple? But like getting dressed.
It's easy to just stay in your workout clothes the rest of the day. But there's something about drawing that line in the sand and, taking a shower and getting yourself together, putting on a cute outfit that really puts me in like work mode.
Yeah.
So that is that's my routine now. The only difference is I'm not getting on a subway and going into the middle of Manhattan, though I am going to Manhattan a lot because I've been catching up and reconnecting with a lot of friends and people I've worked with over the years. So that's also nice to have a reason to step outside my apartment.
So I think that's so important because I even feel like with what we all went through in 2020, routine was really shook up and no one would get up. The simple things when you talk about like mental health, and in our last podcast, we talked a lot about mental health and the importance of just having that routine, getting up, showering, getting dressed every day. I think it's so important.
The most basic things are actually incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Making your bed.
Yes.
One accomplishment after the other.
You build momentum.
And there you go. Yeah. Okay. So here you are, a free woman. How many years did you work in corporate?
So, I mean, I started my first job like within 3 weeks of graduating from college.
Mhm.
And, you know, of course, I've taken vacations over the years, but anytime I've switched jobs, I like finished on a Friday and started on a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm 45 now, so almost 46. So it's been more than 20 years of working for a corporation and knowing exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I kind of want to go back and forth on this because I'm getting a lot of questions too. And as we shared in Austin, new things with Tone It Up that I'm very excited about.
Too.
And even as, you know, as we talk about ebbs and flows and changes in seasons and careers, and, you know, Tone It Up is 16 years in and you've been with us for
The whole time, I think.
the entire
Or
time.
almost close to it.
But those changes that are so uncomfortable, and then for, you know, being in a place where it wasn't great and then going back and making changes and where you feel good again. And so, I mean, what is your opinion on just how do you move? Because I'm navigating something brand new right now and something I'm excited about, which I feel like you have that excited energy of
Totally.
something new. I love change. I don't love unknown, but I'm open to it. But how are you navigating that?
It's such a good question. I mean, I think you have to embrace the excitement of it.
Yeah.
Because the truth is we can't really control any of it. All we can do is our best and sort of put our vision and hopes and dreams out there. Of course, do what you can to work toward making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about this like before I do something like coming on a podcast or public speaking, I get really nervous and hyped. I can like feel my body chemistry change physically. And something I've learned over the years is to reframe that as like, I'm feeling those physical sensations because I care, you know, and it's exciting. And I think even just changing the word about, you know, instead of like, I'll be honest and say it's scary, but I choose personally to focus on the perspective that it's exhilarating, it's exciting.
That's really important. Yeah. Speaking engagements, and you could call it anxiety.
Yes.
Or you
exactly,
could
that's the
call it excitement.
Right.
And know that that's okay to have your body feel that way.
That's right.
And that you're not in danger. You're excited.
Yeah. And I think it's also, again, back to the basics, but just putting one foot in front of the other, that is actually a very powerful thing to do. Whether that means literally like moving your body or taking one step every day toward wherever you want to go. That I think, again, builds momentum, makes you feel productive. And as long as you're taking those steps, like a lot of it has to be revealed for you. You know, as I said, you can't control it. So do what you can and then like let the world sort of put the paths in front of you.
So someone who is looking to make a transition and they've been thinking about it, what is the thought process like?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because the truth is I had been thinking about what was going to come after women's health for almost 2 years. I loved that job, as you know. It was so fun, all the ways we got to work together over the years there. And I loved the team. I loved the content. I loved our experts. It was such a great place to tell stories and to help women live their best lives, healthier, happier lives. I was quite comfortable, you know, even though the media landscape is challenging and there's new obstacles and puzzles to figure out almost every month. The comfort of it and just like the people and knowing I knew what to do every morning, it was like hard to budge out of that zone. And I know anybody out there listening who's thinking about that, I think that's probably the hardest part because you don't know what's going to happen next, that unknown, as you said. And I would just encourage people to be brave and to trust their instincts because, you know, this is like a meme, I'm sure, that goes around and on social media, but it's like great things happen outside of our comfort zones.
Absolutely. It's like
it really
change is uncomfortable.
It is. But I think if we could all make that our rallying cry and trust that like it is all going to work out, that I think gave me the courage and bravery to step outside what I loved and knew so well inside and out and to try something different.
I believe in that. And if anyone's out there, we both and everybody in life and changes in career and relationships, everything is hard. And I love the word resilience.
Ooh, such a good one.
I always say that's my superpower. It's actually when we talk about resilience on the podcast, like everyone wants to learn more about resilience. And you've had a lot of resilience, and we've talked about it on episode 55. And just, I think it's so, I look up to you. Like, to me, when I heard you were leaving Women's Health, I was like, I didn't even reach out to you. I was like, probably so many people are reaching out to you. And I was like, what? Like, you are the face of women's health, not just the magazine and the media, but like the face.
Oh, thanks, Karena. I know, I think it shocked a lot of people. And we caught up pretty quickly after that, I feel. But yes, I too love the word resilience and finding that inner strength to like get back up even when you fall down and even when you're stepping into the unknown and facing new challenges. I always remind myself of this, that like, even when you make a mistake or you don't get what you think you want, like even if you literally have a physical injury, in my experience, we always learn from that. As long as you think of it as like, it's not winning or losing, it's a learning. And honestly, often the most difficult things in life, I think, are a springboard for the best things in life.
Absolutely.
So to me, that's what resilience means, is like having the capacity in that moment to trust and believe that you're going to take something from this experience, because you always do.
And so that ties into best case scenario. Yes, your Substack. Can we talk about that?
I'm so excited about this. I just launched a Substack and its name is Best Case Scenario. So I think of it as a playbook to help readers sort of cut through all the noise in the wellness space, because there's such an overwhelming amount of information and, quite honestly, disinformation. And so, I mean, that's what I love, and that's what lights me up, is learning more, talking to experts, reading studies, hearing from founders and entrepreneurs what they're excited about and what they're building. And I want to surface all the good stuff to help my readers make positive changes in their lives. And just like on a personal note, I love writing. That's why I got into journalism in the first place. And the funny thing, and maybe you've experienced this in your professional career, but as you get higher up and grow and hit the top, you ironically are doing less of that thing that got you into it than
like less
ever. You know?
Yes. Less of working out, less of meditating.
You're just your responsibilities and the needs of whatever you've built or whatever you're working on, they evolve.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think that we often get so distracted as we grow in our careers as women that we do lose some of those things that are the reason why we were doing it. But then now we're in our 40s. I'm going to be 44 in March, right? Yeah, 44. Wow.
Let's go.
Whoa.
I love that you're saying it out loud. That's a big thing for me. I love saying my name out loud, and I didn't always feel that way.
Yeah. And you get back to a place where like, I'm back to me. And I think even with you and boundaries and going on to do your own thing. And, and for me, I say no. Yeah. If I'm not 150% into it, it's a no.
It's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, even when we've been talking recently, I am going to continue to come to you for guidance and inspiration and reminders of that, because when you're on your own and you kind of like don't know when the next opportunity is coming or like when it's going to dry up, that takes, again, a lot of courage to not just say yes to everything, because then you're acting from a place of desperation.
Right.
But that's hard.
It's hard, but you're Liz Plosser and you have no place of desperation.
Thank you. I'm going to like tuck you into my pocket and remember that and like keep these words in my brain.
You are an icon in women's wellness. I truly, like, you are. And we were even talking yesterday at my house in Austin just about even Tone It Up being this like unicorn.
Totally
story,
is. Yes. It's such an amazing story, and its longevity and its power and how many women it's helped.
And you do. You're up there, probably more millions of women that you've helped than we have. And
I don't know about that. But no, it's I think it's such a great reminder. And I totally agree with you. At 45 years old, I have never felt more authentically true to myself.
Do you think because of 45, like, you doubted yourself?
I mean, I'm human. So of course I have those moments of self-doubt, many of which I say for my therapist in those weekly conversations.
Or maybe an upcoming podcast.
Or maybe an upcoming podcast like right now. So I'll own it. I, of course, have moments of self-doubt. And then people will say things like you just said, or like go forth with confidence. And I like logically believe you on some level and know that to be true. And yet, isn't it harder to like internalize that yourself? Like for me, that's the work, as they say.
Yeah. I would say my Bobby, Bobby, husband Bobby, he says the nicest things to me all the time. And I know he means it, but I don't know if I accept it and believe it.
It's something I work on every day. But yeah, I like owning our age and recognizing the value of our experience and wisdom and friendships over the years. Like, to me, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can reinvent yourself. You can take a new path. And like, if anyone out there is having moments of self-doubts, no matter how old you are, like, let me be proof of that you can leave the dreamiest, biggest job of your entire career. And I'm going to be honest, Karena, I have like never felt this happy and excited.
Oh, I literally am getting chills.
Like unexpectedly so. And like total gift. And this wouldn't be possible unless I went through some uncomfortable moments.
Yeah.
And I still am in this new discomfort zone. But like to hold that like knowledge and belief and just happiness and excitement and joy, it's an extraordinary experience.
I feel you on that. And again, the ebbs and flows of Tone It Up and everything, and my new stage in Tone It Up, and where I finally am like, to Bobby, I'm like, I feel like I can breathe again. Yeah. But I know it might not stay there all the time, but I can breathe again.
Breathe again. And you can hang on to this feeling and remember how good it is.
Yeah.
But like taking it back to best case scenario Substack, which I know I totally took us off track. I know. But the thing I got into journalism for was writing and storytelling. And of course I did that in my role, but it was via my incredible team and greenlighting other people's ideas. Of course I had my own, and editing their writing. And so it was something I actually, toward the end of my tenure at Women's Health, made a concerted effort to do more of, writing. And I ended up writing 2 of our cover stories. And I wrote a feature about the Kansas City Current soccer team, the first stadium in the world built for women. I got to write my editor's letters every month, but those are only a few hundred words. But I remember when I was writing one of my cover stories, I guess it was a little bit after we talked, because it was 2 years ago. It was a profile of Jill Biden, the former first lady. And Matt, my husband, and I were on a trip to Bali. I know you've been there and love it.
I have not.
Oh, I thought we've talked about this.
No, I have not.
Must go.
Desiree over here has been to
Bali. I mean, put that on the top of your list with Bobby, because it is a wellness like utopia. You will just play and have so much fun. Yeah. But it's 2 very, very long flights to get there.
Yeah.
And I wrote my first draft on the way and then kind of let it sit and was tinkering with it during the trip. And then on the way home, the last flight was 14 hours long. I worked on it Like Matt took multiple naps, watched multiple movies. I worked on it the whole time, not because I was stressed or like, it was because I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
Just reshaping it, editing it, working on it more. And after we landed, Matt was like, I have not seen you this lit up in like, I can't even remember how long. Like he felt that energy.
Don't you love it when your partner can feel that in you and
he, like,
support you in it?
Felt it, he saw it, he acknowledged it. And so best case scenario is I think like a version of that I get to write again and tinker with words. And then again, owning it. You feel the moments of self-doubt as maybe you do with your podcast. You're like pushing it into the world and you're like, does anybody care? Does this really matter?
I know, like even writing a memoir, I'm like, does this matter? Am I saying too much? Am I like
it's vulnerable?
But then you're like, you know what? It lights me up. It's creative. I think
it's as much for us as it is for everybody who receives it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this that we're talking about all of these topics here because we're about to go to a fun conference about women's longevity and thriving.
Yes.
So
this is, we're in town for the Luminescence.
Yes.
Women's Health Summit or Conference. The speaking lineup is absolutely incredible. I'm super excited because I know many of these women, as I know you do too. Like these are experts, advisory board members of women's health, just people that I have gotten the chance to get to know over my career, and some new faces too, who I can't wait to hear speak. So, I mean, I feel so grateful because even though I don't have my former title next to my name, to be able to have the opportunities to.
You don't need a title.
You need a title.
You don't need
it. And I'm ready to be a sponge and like hear what they have to say and connect with women like you. It's dreamy.
All right. Well, we better get to the conference
it's
and mingle. Okay. So where does everyone find you now?
Yes.
And stop DMing you to be on the cover of Women's Health.
Oh, yes. That's a story for another day. I love DMs, so they are welcome to DM me. But I am sorry to say I no longer have the power to decide if you are part of Women's Health. So go find that incredible team. They'll be happy to give you feedback. Okay. You can find me on Instagram mostly at Liz Plosser, LizPlosser. And please subscribe to my new Substack called Best Case Scenario with Liz Plosser.
Yes, all in the show notes. And thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Always a pleasure. And
Always.
I can't believe we're hanging out Austin, LA tonight, dinner, everything. This is amazing.
It's so great. I love it.
All right. You're a superstar. Thank you.
You are too.
The big silence. The big silence.